Hello friends, welcome back to TechnoSavvy. In the last video, we discussed the inline formatting with some special examples. Apart from just formatting only text, we also need to format other elements also. So let's have a look at those. Let's open another file in our chapter 2 folder called Try Out Special Characters in the browser as well as the notepad. We can take a look at what we have got to start with. We have got a header up here at the top and a paragraph. Now, if I read to the next line, you can see that it's intended for this line to be on the next line of text, but it's shown as one simple line of text on our browser. If we use paragraph tags to break these up into two blocks of text, we'll end up with the space in between, but we really want it on the next line. So what we are going to use is the line break tag. The line break tag just starts like any other tag. It's the BR tag, but instead of this tag enclosing some other text, we really just want it to insert a line break. So we are going to use the end tag at any point after the line break tag starts. This is what some people refers to as self-closing tag or a tag with no elements inside of it. Now, the way to indicate a self-closing tag is to just put a backslash at the end of the start tag, and that signals the browser that there will be no closing tag after this one. Let me save my changes and we'll go back to our browser and take a quick look. Now you can see that the line has been pulled to next line, but it hasn't been broken off into separate paragraph with spacing. It's simply on the next line. Another tag like line break tag actually inserts some visual. So let's go back to our HTML document and we'll try out the horizontal rule tag. Now I'll go between these two paragraphs and insert the HR tag. This is also a tag with no elements inside or a self-closing tag. So I need to add a backslash at the end, and what's different about the HR tag is it's a kind of character return, but it also creates a visual break line. So we'll save our changes and go back to the browser and refresh the page. We can see that an actual line has been drawn across the page. Till now, we have seen how we do spacing for line. Now, let's take a look at how we do that for characters. In the next line, we are intended to have a big spacing between the two to have that dramatic effect. So, let's go back and see how we can do that in our code. We already know we can add as much spaces we want here, and the browser is going to interpret that as one single space. So what we need to do is to add a character that means a space, and we do that using special symbols or entities, and the entities always start the same way. They start up with the ampersand character, and there are two ways how we can describe any entity that we want to insert into the text. We can either use its name or its number. As the numbers are a lot older, so most of the people use name as they are easier to remember. And for instance, the name for a non-breaking space character is NBSP, and you can see that goes right after the ampersand and it's followed by a semicolon. Now, that whole character will insert one single space. So, if we want a dramatic effect here, we'll simply need to add more characters. Now, we can copy that and paste it in a bunch of times. Let's see how that works. I'll save my changes and go back to our page and refresh. Now, it's clearly visible that the text after the point where I inserted the non-breaking space character has been moved further. These non-breaking space characters are actually used in a lot of places. Now we have got a whole bunch of spatial symbols down here. I have used the line break here to separate each label. We'll insert the symbols that these words are indicating. Let's start with copyright. You probably have seen those on a number of different pages, and for copyright symbol we start up with the ampersand symbol and is simply named copy. It ends with a semicolon and I'll put a space in between these two so that there is a space in between my copyright symbol and the words copyright symbol. And let's save our changes and try that out. There we can see the copyright symbol inserted with a space right next to the words. Now we can do a whole bunch of these at once. Registered symbol would be ampersand reg. Again, it has to end with a semicolon, and I'll put a space in between. The trademark symbol, that's simply the ampersand trade. The dollar sign is considered a normal character, but if you need to show prices on your page in another currency, you need to use some of these other symbols as well. We have got the British pound, which is ampersand pound. Ampersand euro is used for the euro, and ampersand yen is used for the yen. Some people like to even use ligature codes. So you can notice that I have a spatial symbol for left double quote and a right double quote, and that will be ampersand LDQUO. Again, semicolon at the end, and of course the right one would be ampersand RDQUO. Now the last one here at the bottom you might not think is actually true. We can actually type the ampersand character, and the most modern browsers will actually type it there for us. You can see it in the preview, but technically you should use another entity for the ampersand character, as you can see ampersand is the part of the rest of the entities. So typically some older browsers might be confused when you use that symbol alone. So what we'll do instead is we'll use ampersand amp, and that will always give the ampersand character in every browser. Let's save our changes and see how our symbols look. I'll go back to my page and refresh. Now we can see all the symbols have been inserted in front of the labels. As I already mentioned, we can also use the respective numbers instead of names. That's all for the day. In the next video, we'll discuss the HTML list. Till then, goodbye.